There is one moment, one specific psychological shift that every woman experiences when she finally chooses a man. It sounds like this inside her mind: I don't want to start over with someone else. It's not a romantic sentence, it's a biological one. This is when commitment becomes natural, not forced, not pressured, not negotiated, natural, because her emotional world attaches to yours. This is when she begins to fight for the relationship instead of fighting within it. This is when she stops testing and starts trusting. This is when her fear of losing you becomes stronger than her fear of trusting you. And at that moment, you are chosen completely, silently, irrevocably. There is something most men never realize. Not every man a woman meets becomes a memory. Not every man becomes a story. Not every man becomes a lesson. But some men, they become a scar, a ghost, an echo in her mind that years cannot erase. These are not always the men she loved the longest. Not the ones who gave her the most, not the ones who said the right words. The men who leave permanent emotional fingerprints are the ones who touch something deeper, a part of her psyche even she didn't know existed. Let me explain why. There are 3 types of attraction: physical, emotional, psychological. Most men only trigger the first one. Some trigger the second. Very few ever reach the third. Psychological attraction goes beyond desire, beyond chemistry, beyond excitement. This is the attraction that changes her, how she thinks, how she feels, how she sees herself, how she moves in relationships, how she understands men. This is the attraction that stays. This is the man she compares everyone else to. The man whose voice she hears even in silence. The man she can't fully replace. Why him? Because he triggered one thing: attachment imprinting, the deepest form of female bonding. It's when a woman's nervous system associates safety, intensity, emotional stimulation, direction, mystery, connection, all with the same man. It's rare, it's powerful. And once it happens, it is almost impossible to undo. A woman can forget a man she slept with. She can forget a man she dated, but she will never forget the man who awakened the parts of her feminine psyche she didn't even know she had. This is the man her body remembers even when her mind tries to move on. Let's go deeper. There are 3 psychological triggers that turn a man into a permanent mental mark. A woman may forget what you said. She may forget what you did, but she never forgets how she felt in your presence. Did she feel calm, desired, safe, excited, challenged, alive, seen? The stronger the internal shift you cause in her, the stronger the attachment. This is why the calm man in her chaos, the mysterious man in her predictability, the grounded man in her emotional storms, the passionate man in her boredom becomes unforgettable. You didn't impress her. You changed her internal state. Women never forget the men who shift their emotions. This is not dominance. This is not control. This is energetic contrast. When your masculine stillness meets her feminine emotion in the right balance, she feels something ancient, a pull, a surrender, a recognition. This polarity activates instincts older than culture, logic, or morality. It makes her look at you differently, soften around you, open up emotionally, crave your presence, attach deeply. And once that instinct activates, you live inside her body's memory. Not confusion, not manipulation, mystery. Mystery is the space her mind fills with imagination. And imagination is stronger than reality. A woman becomes obsessed not with who you are, but with who you are in her mind. Your silence, your pauses, your unpredictability, if they are rooted in calm masculine presence, create endless mental loops. She thinks about what you meant, why you didn't react, why you remained composed, why she feels drawn to you. This is how she begins to mentally bond with you without even realizing she is bonding. Mystery is not absence. Mystery is psychological depth. And depth is magnetic. Let me tell you a secret that most men never learn. A woman doesn't devote herself because you impress her. She devotes herself because she feels safe in your presence and consumed in your absence. This is the paradox. When you are there, she feels grounded. When you are gone, she feels the pull. This combination creates a loop. Peace, tension. Peace, tension. This is the rhythm that forms long-term psychological attachment. Not obsession, not manipulation, not games, just masculine consistency mixed with masculine unpredictability in the right balance. This is the formula for imprinting. A woman does not become loyal because you demand it. She becomes loyal because you awaken the part of her that wants to be loyal. When a woman feels emotionally understood, psychologically stimulated, spiritually safe, physically attracted, mentally challenged, energetically balanced, she commits deeply, because such a man is rare. And the feminine instinct is simple. She never risks losing a man she feels safe to surrender to. Women do not easily forget the man who imprints them. But this power is not a toy. It is not a tactic. It is not something to exploit. If you awaken a woman deeply and then abandon her, you create a wound she may carry for years. Am I telling you this to scare you? No, I'm telling you this because awareness is mastery. A man who knows the depth of his influence becomes more ethical, not less. He becomes intentional, grounded, responsible with the energy he awakens. That's true masculine maturity. There is a moment in every connection, a moment so subtle, so quiet that most men never see it coming. It's the moment when a woman shifts. Not her body, not her words, her energy. And the shift determines everything. Will she become devoted, or will she become obsessed? Or will she disappear as if nothing ever happened? Most men ruin everything here, not because they are weak, but because they don't understand the difference. Let me guide you through it. Every woman processes desire in phases. You saw the levels before: curiosity, interest, fantasy, temptation. But beyond all of those lies a deeper crossroad. Does she feel safe enough to surrender, or does she feel unstable enough to obsess? This is the difference between emotional bonding and emotional addiction. Most men trigger obsession by mistake. A few trigger devotion by design. But no one tells you the difference. So let's go deeper. 1. Devotion grows in emotional safety. When a woman is devoted to you, she feels grounded, seen, understood, protected, stimulated, awakened. She opens herself emotionally because your presence gives her roots. A devoted woman isn't chaotic. She isn't unstable. She isn't chasing. She chooses you consciously. She softens. She aligns. She surrenders. Not from fear, but from trust. This is the highest expression of feminine energy. Most men never experience this version of a woman because they don't know how to create the emotional conditions for it. 2. Obsession grows in emotional instability. A woman becomes obsessed when her nervous system is overwhelmed. Her fantasies explode too quickly. Her emotional needs were triggered before she felt safe. Her hormones outrun her logic. The man created intensity, but not structure. Obsession isn't love. Obsession is urgency, anxiety, insecurity, fear of loss, emotional dependence, the craving for the sensation he creates. It's a survival reaction, not a connection. And here is the dark truth. Women in obsession chase the man who hurts them because he activates their fear circuitry, not their heart. Obsession burns fast and dies painfully. Devotion burns slow and lasts deeply. A devoted woman is not submissive. She is not weak. She is not controlled. She is rooted. Why? Because the man she is drawn to carries 4 traits that her nervous system trusts. 1. Emotional consistency. He doesn't explode. He doesn't panic. He doesn't get triggered like a child. He is calm in her storms. And because she senses his stability, her body relaxes. And when a woman relaxes, she bonds. Her softness is not weakness. It is biological trust. 2. Psychological depth. He not loud. He is not attention-seeking. He doesn't over-explain himself. He has layers. She feels there is more to discover, that he has a world inside him she hasn't explored yet. Depth is the masculine version of beauty. It pulls her in without effort. 3. Controlled mystery. This is not mixed signals. This is not manipulation. Controlled mystery is when a man reveals, slowly speaks with intention, moves with presence, creates silence with meaning, avoids emotional chaos, keeps his frame even under pressure. Mystery activates her imagination. Her imagination activates her desire. Desire activates her devotion. 4. Direction. A man becomes unforgettable not because of what he gives her, but because of where he is going. Women desire men who are in motion, men with purpose, men who chase a vision bigger than her. Why? Because a man with direction creates gravity. He is a path she can join, not a man she needs to carry. He is different. He is explosive, unstable, intense without control, mysterious without structure, attractive but unreliable, emotionally stimulating but spiritually empty. He is a fire without a fireplace. Women fall into obsession with him, not devotion. And here is the tragic part. A woman will chase obsession, but she will build a life with devotion. If you want a stable relationship, learn devotion. If you want a woman spiraling, obsession is easy. But you, my listener, you are not here for chaos. You're here for mastery. There is a moment when a woman decides, I can trust him with my softness. This is the moment a woman truly bonds. This is the moment she shifts from resistance to surrender, from uncertainty to alignment. What triggers this? A man who does not break under her emotions. Her storms don't move him. Her silence doesn't shake him. Her tests don't destabilize him. Her moods don't confuse him. And suddenly her body stops being guarded. She opens, not sexually, emotionally. This kind of surrender is rare, sacred, ancient. Women don't give it to men who chase. They give it to men who lead themselves. Watch her closely. When a woman begins to calm down around you, speak softer, breathe slower, look at you longer, fold into your presence, stop testing as much, relax her defenses, it means her instincts have accepted you at a biological level. This is the beginning of devotion, not the loud, desperate devotion of obsession, the quiet, solid, feminine devotion of trust, the kind that lasts. This one is different. A woman becomes obsessed when she thinks obsessively, checks her phone repeatedly, seeks reassurance, becomes overly reactive, feels anxious when you pull away, becomes jealous, attaches fast, idealizes you, fears losing you. This is not love. This is dysregulation. It will not grow. It will explode. Obsession is a wildfire. Devotion is a flame in a lantern. One destroys, one illuminates. Women don't bond through sex. Women bond through vulnerability, emotional contrast, tension, release, imagination, stability, masculine gravity, the pursuit of her feminine surrender. Sex is only the final expression of the bond, not the origin of it. The real bonding happens in the psychology, in the unseen, in the subtle, in the emotional atmosphere between you. And that is exactly where most men fail, because no one ever taught them how to manage feminine energy without losing themselves. But you're learning it now. There is a moment in every connection where something shifts inside a woman, a moment so subtle, so quiet that she won't say it out loud. But her entire nervous system feels it. It's the moment she realizes, this man is not just someone I want, he is someone I cannot replace. This is what we call emotional claiming. Not ownership, not control, not dominance, but the primal moment when a woman's feminine energy bows, not out of submission, but out of recognition. Recognition of a man's internal gravity, recognition of a man who leads himself, recognition of a man she can finally relax around. This is where devotion begins. Let's break down how this moment happens, psychologically, emotionally, and biologically. 1. The masculine force. She can feel, not touch. You can say all the right words. You can look good, smell good, dress well. You can be funny, charming, polite. None of that creates devotion. A woman becomes devoted only when she feels something deeper. Your energy doesn't move when her emotions do. Most men crumble the second a woman gets emotional, pulls away, questions, something tests, goes silent, shifts her energy. The weak man reacts. The average man explains himself. The insecure man rushes to fix it. The needy man panics, but the man she ultimately chooses, he does none of that. He stays centered. He stays grounded. He stays still. Not cold, not indifferent, not dismissive, just unshakable. And when she feels that, a switch flips inside her. Because feminine energy is like water. It flows, it moves, it expands, contracts, storms, evaporates. Masculine energy is the container, solid, grounded, present. The moment she realizes you can hold her energy instead of being swallowed by it, that is when she feels claimed. 2. The words that pierce her feminine core. Most men think emotional claiming comes from compliments. It doesn't. Compliments touch her ego. Claiming touches her instinct. And it doesn't happen with standard lines like, you're beautiful, I like you, I want you. No, it happens with simple grounded statements like, slow down, I'm listening, relax, I've got this. You don't have to act strong with me. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm also not chasing you. Look at me. These lines hit different because they're rooted in masculine authority, not neediness. They don't demand. They don't convince. They don't seek approval. They direct. And feminine energy responds instinctively to direction, the same way fire responds to oxygen. A woman who hears these words from a centered man feels an internal shift she cannot hide. Her voice softens, her posture changes, her eyes deepen. Her breathing slows. Why? Because something ancient inside her recognizes masculine leadership, and that recognition is the foundation of devotion. 3. The moment she stops being defensive. Women don't trust lightly. Modern dating, it teaches women survival, not softness. So they come with walls, sarcasm, defensive humor, emotional distance, skepticism, overthinking, emotional armor. But when she meets a man who feels like home instead of danger, her shields begin to drop. Not because she decides to lower them, but because her nervous system no longer feels the need to keep them up. She stops playing games. She stops testing you as much. She stops being so guarded. She lets her feminine energy breathe. This is the moment she begins to feel claimed, not as a possession, but as a woman whose instinct has found something she trusts. 4. The deepest trigger: controlled attention. Women don't fall for men who give constant attention. They fall for men who give selective attention. Attention with intention. Attention with meaning. Attention that feels earned. When a man gives attention slowly, deliberately, unpredictably, but not inconsistently, with emotional depth, with presence, not performance, it hits her harder than any compliment ever could. Because in that moment she realizes his attention means something. And when a woman values your attention, she values you. 5. The subtle masculine behaviors that trigger her surrender. These behaviors flip the switch from interest to devotion. He speaks calmly even when she's emotional. He doesn't rush to explain himself. He pauses before responding. He's a mystery, but not chaos. He disappears sometimes, but with purpose, not immaturity. He has a life she can enter, not a void she must fill. He knows when to be warm and when to be distant. He doesn't flinch when she tests him. These small, subtle actions signal strength to her subconscious. They tell her, this man is stable, this man is intentional, this man is emotionally grounded, this man doesn't bend easily, this man is not controlled by her reactions, and the feminine only surrenders to what it respects, not what it overwhelms, not what it controls, not what it can predict. There is one moment that changes everything. The moment she realizes you can walk away and it wouldn't break you. This doesn't mean you threaten to leave. It means your identity isn't based on her. Your self-worth isn't tied to her validation. Your purpose is bigger than the relationship. She is a part of your life, not the center of it. When a woman feels that, she shifts. Because women don't want men who need them. They want men who choose them. Choice creates devotion. Neediness creates destruction. Why some men become unforgettable. There is a point in every connection where something irreversible happens inside a woman's mind. A moment most men never notice, but every woman has felt. It is not love. It is not attraction. It is not chemistry. It is imprinting, a psychological and emotional branding that makes a man stay inside her nervous system long after he's gone. Some men become memories. A rare few become triggers. But a select, almost mythic category of men, they become imprints. The kind of imprint she cannot shake, erase, suppress, or replace. Because her body remembers him even when her mind tries to forget. And here's the truth most men never learn. A woman becomes emotionally imprinted not through consistency, but through emotional contrast. Let's break down exactly how. A woman does not imprint on predictable men. She does not imprint on the nice guy. She does not imprint on the easy, available, agreeable man. She imprints on the man who interrupts her emotional rhythm. The man who shows her something she didn't expect. A tone, a reaction, a silence, a presence, a boundary that shakes her out of autopilot. It is the psychological equivalent of touching a live wire. A moment of, why did that affect me? Why did he say it like that? Why do I suddenly feel nervous? Why did my body react? The imprint begins here, because in that instant, her unconscious recognizes something. This man is not like the others, and once she senses that difference, she cannot unsee it. Every woman, consciously or unconsciously, tests emotional balance, not maliciously, not cruelly, not intentionally, but instinctively. It's biology. Feminine energy expands and contracts like a tide. Masculine energy is the shore, either solid or collapsing. The moment she becomes emotional, upset, irritated, anxious, dramatic, guarded, distant, overwhelmed, most men crumble. They react, they chase, they explain, they apologize excessively, they try to fix everything instantly. They panic at the slightest shift, but the man who becomes an imprint, he does something different. He stays unmoved, not rigid, not cold, not dismissive, just so grounded that her chaos cannot invade him. And that is when she feels something powerful. I can lose control and he still won't. That is when her unconscious bonds. That is when she imprints on him. Because emotionally, instinctually, biologically, she feels safe. Not safe as in protected, safe as in I can trust him with the parts of me that even I can't control. That is a different level of connection, a rare one, a permanent one. Female desire is fueled by contrast, not consistency. Consistency creates comfort. Contrast creates obsession. Contrast is what imprints her nervous system. And contrast happens when a man knows how to shift between warmth and silence, presence and absence, softness and firmness, mystery and clarity, closeness and distance. It's the emotional mirroring of a heartbeat. This is why the man who is fully available never becomes unforgettable. The man who disappears entirely never becomes unforgettable. But the man who creates rhythm becomes addictive. Rhythm is not games, it's emotional pacing. It's letting her wonder, anticipate, feel your absence, feel your return, feel the tension, feel the relief. It's giving her mind space to imagine you and giving her body time to miss you. That is how an imprint is carved into her emotional biology. Not your vulnerability, hers. Every strong woman, every guarded woman, every emotionally distant woman has a soft center. Most men never reach it. But the man who becomes unforgettable is the one who reaches that center without forcing it. It happens in one moment, when she opens up accidentally, when she reveals something she didn't plan to share, when her voice cracks, when her eyes soften, when she stops pretending, when her guard slips, when her feminine energy drops into softness. And in that moment, if you stay grounded, present, and calm, she links that softness to you. That is imprinting. Not from sex, not from romance, not from gifts, not from words, but from the moment she felt emotionally naked and you didn't flinch. Everything after that moment, your touch, your tone, your scent, your silence, becomes connected to that vulnerability, and that is what makes a man unforgettable. When she sees herself differently around you. A woman does not imprint on the man who changes her life. She imprints on the man who changes her sense of self. The man who activates a part of her. She forgot, she suppressed, she never explored, she never knew existed. A man becomes unforgettable when he awakens the feminine she hides, the softness she avoids, the passion she buried, the creativity she suppressed, the wildness she tamed, the innocence she abandoned, the desire she never admitted. If a woman becomes a different version of herself around you, a version she likes more than her usual self, it's over. She imprints on you, she attaches emotionally. Not logically, not intentionally, not through choice, but through biology, through instinct, through nervous system coding. Most men try to impress women. The rare man triggers transformation within her. And the man who transforms her is the man she never forgets. Not because he completes her, but because he awakens her. That is imprinting. And once it happens, you become the emotional benchmark she measures every future man against. That is the psychology behind being unforgettable. How a woman begins to attach to a man she cannot fully predict. There comes a moment in every connection when desire stops being a feeling and begins to become a need. Most men never notice that moment, but women feel it instantly, almost like a shift inside their own body, a tightening, a nervous spark, a thought she can't silence. It happens quietly, without warning, without permission. But when it happens, everything changes. Because this is the stage where a woman stops evaluating you and starts emotionally attaching to you. She doesn't choose it. Her nervous system does. And the man she attaches to is rarely the one who gave her the most affection. It is the one who activated the deepest psychological triggers without even trying. Let's break down exactly how this attachment forms. A woman becomes emotionally dependent not on the man who gives her everything, but on the man who gives her something rare. Uncertainty with stability. Not chaos, not danger, not toxicity, but the inability to fully read you paired with the comfort of knowing you don't disappear. This creates a psychological effect known as secure mystery. It's when she feels safe around you but never fully in control, drawn to you but slightly off balance, close to you but never able to predict your rhythm. This is the emotional state that triggers attachment. Why? Because the female brain is wired to decode emotional patterns. When she can't decode you fully, her mind keeps returning to you. Her thoughts loop, her body reacts. She becomes alert when your name appears on her screen. She feels a pull when she senses your energy shift. This is the moment where desire starts turning into emotional need.